Okay, this video is going to show you how to create a rotating track or Sega style menu. You need to do the line menu or the Donkey Kong one, where they're both the same videos first before you can do this, because what we're going to do is we're going to alter the code for those. Okay, so I'm going from the Donkey Kong one. So this is currently what my menu system looks like for my high score entry when it comes up. Okay, so it's Donkey Kong one. Scroll around, down, put our scores in. Okay, so we're gonna alter this. The only couple of changes that we need to make. The first one, we need to change the track. I want to make a circular track, so I'm going to delete all the code in score entry line track. Okay, I'm just going to get rid of all of it. What I'm then going to do is I'm going to create a new track that's going to be a circle or an ellipse I'm going to use. So I'm going to use my high entry track still, but I'm going to use the track helper to create an ellipse. I quickly showed this at the end of the Donkey Kong one, but I'm showing it in a slightly different way here. So this is going to be our entry track, doesn't matter what I call that name. Right, the number of points I want. I've got the alphabet characters, so that's 26, plus a space, 27, plus rubbing ends, that's 29 characters. But I want this to have like a scrolling effect, so I'm going to have more points than that. So what I'm going to go for is 2,900 points. Okay, so that has to be a factor of the number of positions I've got characters for. So I want 29 characters, so I'm going to have 100 points for every character, and that will give me a nice smooth scroll. Okay, I'm going to go on to the next line because I need to define the center of this ellipse. So vector 3, so that's going to be the center of the screen, screen size center dot x, screen size center dot y, and just going to put 0 for the Z position for now. You can play back with all these numbers. The width of it, well, the screen center x is the width, so I'm going to actually do screen center size dot center dot x minus 50, so it's not the full width of the screen, and screen size dot center dot y minus 25. Okay, and that should be it for the ellipse. So that creates an ellipse with 2,900 points along it. Okay, that's all I need to do for the line definition. I now need to change my menu, so I'll scroll down a little bit to where my menu is created, and I said tag follow selection. Now this time I don't want to do that. I'm going to have the whole thing spin, so I'm going to comment that code out, and I also want to space everything every 100 positions, because I made 2,900 points, so every 100 positions I want to put a character. Just above that I'm going to add a different tag selection method. Okay, so this is going to be tag, oops, I'm being a bit of a div here, mn entry tag make selection. So I'm going to create the same menu tag, entry tag align. Now this bit doesn't matter, as you're going to see in a minute. Okay, because you can't really alter the alignment much on that. And the final value you need is the selected position on the track. So I'm setting the tag at position 0 on the track, which will be where the first character went, which is where the A is. Okay, and as I'm going to scroll the track round, the letters are going to hit the tag and then be selected. Okay, so just leave that at 0 for now. You can experiment with that yourself, but it won't work if you put silly positions. Okay, right, that's all we need to do to the menu. So if we just run that, just to check that it's displaying, nothing else is going to work properly yet, but it should at least display an ellipse when I press my 1 key. There you go. Right, the first issue we've got there is the tag. The tag is over the center of the the selected character, so we need to do something about that. So let's kill that, and let's go back to where the tag's defined, which is just below the menu. Here we are, sprite entry tag. I'm going to take the scaling off, so I'm just going to comment that out, and I'm going to alter the alpha of this a little bit. So I'm going to say alpha equals 0.5, so it's a little bit muted and it's in the background. So let's just run that and see what that looks like. So I've just fiddled about with the tag. Obviously you can have an animated tag and things like that if you wanted. There you go. Okay, I'm probably going to change the colour of it as well. So I'm just going to take the colour wash back off. So it's gone back to white. So it'll be transparent white now. So let's have a look. Okay, which is arguably better, but they'd have to argue quite strong. Okay, let's now change the key code. Now here's our key code. So in input for the high score entry state, I've got mn entry exit. That's not going to work now, because what I need to do is wind the track. So I'm going to say, when I press the right key, I want to track advance auto, and then how quickly do I want it to move. Now I've got 100 positions between each character, so I'm going to say 10 positions. Okay, and we'll have to play with that to get that to work properly. Let's change the left key to do the opposite. So mni entry.track rewind auto, and again I'm going to put 10. So that's going to affect the speed. Oh, let's change those to 1, and I'll show you why you won't want it at 1 for this particular setup. So if we run that now, when we press the right key, we're going to get move the track, and when we press the left key, we're going to move the track. So you'll see the effect of that, but it'll be quite slow. So I'm going to press 1 when it comes up to go into me entry, and there you go. It's automatically. I'm not doing that. I'm just press the key once, and it scrolls. If I hold it down, it'll just keep scrolling. And when the letter gets to where the tag is, it's selected. Okay. But we don't want it to visit every single pixel of the 100, so I'm going to speed that up. I'm going to put 20. And again, this is something you'll need to play with the numbers to get the effect you want. So it's still going to scroll, but it's going to scroll it quicker. So it's going to like flick this time. So I'm going to do my 1. And I'm holding the key down because I've still got that. So it's flicking, just to show that it does actually work. Okay, it doesn't go to the end. That's another thing we need to fix in a second. But it does enter the score like EEE. It's got the top score. Okay, right. Let's go and fix the flicking to the end, because that was easy on the other menu. So if we go back to high score entry, that code is in our made selection, and it's this. This is what we originally had. We said if we've got more than 3 characters and they've tried to select another one, show them the end character. But that doesn't work with a track menu, so we're going to comment that out, and instead of that we're going to use mn entry.select item track, and we're going to go for the same character and how fast do we want to get there. So I'm going to put in 50. Okay, so what it's going to do is it's going to automatically spin round to the end character. So let's see that in action. Again, you need to fiddle with that number. Don't go above 100, because 100 was the gap between all the characters. Right, so I'm gonna I'm gonna put JJJ. Right, when I do the 4th one, it's gonna spin to end. It spins round. Let's rub a few out. Now you might want to reverse the rewind and advance. Right, so I'm going to do 000. It spins round to end. Okay, so that was that nice little bit of code. Select item track. The other thing that won't work is in where we start the high score and we select item A. That doesn't work. Okay, so what we should do is we should say for a track menu, reset it all. So mn entry dot track reset positions to force it back to the A every time. Okay, so run that. And I'll show you that. Essentially that's it, that's as fancy, but I'll show you one more thing by changing the track. So go on to it, T, go to end, try and put another one in, get some good scores now, and it's gone back to A. Okay, so that's your basics of track. If that's all you're interested in, you can stop right there. Alright, let's do something a bit better here. We've got an ellipse, fair enough, and it's centered in the center of the screen. Well, what I'm going to do, I'm going to turn perspective projection on for the sprites. Okay, 2 steps for this. First thing I want to do is just rotate this. What I'm going to do is I'm going to change track. I'm going to make a circle. So I'm going to say graphics, and I'll delete that one in a minute. TD high entry equals track helper dot circle, entry track again, same number of points. Oops. Specify the center, which I've already done once. That was that. So that's the center of the screen. Let's put it on the next line down so it makes it tidy. Then we just need to specify the radius. So the radius for this, the radius is going to be screen size dot center dot y minus 50. Oh, silly touchpad. It's always doing that. Minus 50. We'll have to play with these figures. So let's come out of the ellipse one, because we've now got a circle. But what we're also going to do is we're going to use, let's just run that and see what the effect is. That'll just do a circle rather than a squash circle, which is what an ellipse is. So let's just see what that looks like. Okay, so you've got a circle. Right, let's rotate that circle over. Let's tip it. And that'll give us some 3-dimensional data then. So if we say track helper dot rotate, now it wants to know what track we want to rotate, so that's graphics dot td high entry. It wants to know the center that we want to rotate about. Now that center is the same as the screen center we used when we set the circle up. Then what it wants is to know the angles. Now we want to rotate it. If you think in 3D, I want to tip it about the x-axis, so I want to lean it back. So I'm going to mess about with this, and I'm going to say rotate minus 30. Well, I must do minus 60. I'll have to play with this and not in the other 2 directions. Okay, so if we look at that, we won't see a 3D effect, but we'll see that it's not just a flat circle on screen this time. Okay, it's tipped back. Right, let's turn on perspective projection. Now we need to do this in 2 steps, and we'll do it in the menu. At the minute we add the list of sprites directly, so what I'm going to do after my choice bit, I'm going to say list sprite SL equals, and I'm going to take this fancy code from the text manager that created our list for us, and I'm going to store the list first, and then I'm going to add it to the menu. By doing that, what I can do is this. I can say for each sprite S in SL, I can say SL.perspective projection equals true. Okay, so I'm looping through every sprite that's been generated, so all 29, and turning perspective projection on for them, and then I'm adding them as a list of sprites. So let's see what the effect of that is. You have to play about with perspective projection, because it can make things go a bit mental. Okay, what I need to do is tilt it the other way. Okay, so go back. I'm going to do plus 60 instead of minus 60. See what effect that has. I'm going to leave you to play with this because it's going to be personal to you how you want it to actually look. Okay. Now let's just select a name for that. I just did end no name. And it comes back to task again. Let's do it again and see where it starts. So the A is back there. Let's make the circle a little small. Let's make it just 200 radius and see if we get a nicer effect. Because it's a bit deep, bit stretched out. So that's a little bit better. Again, it's not mega, okay, but what we can do is we can rotate the track another way. Let's try rotating it around the y-axis. That's the vertical axis. It's like a spinning top axis. But like I say, you'll have to play about with these things. You've got to be careful because they're commutative. So let's spin that round. Let's try doing the Z90 and the Y0. Eventually you'll hit on a set of settings that are going to be what you want. So that's made it go vertical because that's the Z axis. Okay. So let's put that to, let's try 270. No. So 270 around the Y axis. Spin it again. So I've got A at the front now, and you can see they go off in the back. Let's just set the X1 to 0, see what effect that has. It should actually just make it tip up. Let's have a look. So there you've got a vertical wheel now. So what we want to do is rotate it by 90 degrees, tip it over. But these are the commutative, these things, the order that you do the rotations will affect. There you go. So I've tipped it over, but I want to tilt it as well. So I need a little bit of X. So let's do 10. See if that's right. And it is in 3D, so you can put something in the center of the screen and they will go behind it. And that's not what I wanted. So let's put that back to 0. So it's not that that's affecting that. Let's try making this 80 instead of 90 in the Z axis. Let's put a 10 on that one. I'll stop in a minute because I'm getting bored myself. But that's how you set the perspective projection on. Okay. You can alter the perspective scale because we've got some scale on that. So you can do that anywhere, but let's do it up here where we set this up. So we can say engine manager dot render properties, and it's the default layer that these are going on. Render properties layer dot pp. Oh no, it's the viewport ones. Yeah, can't remember my own code. Viewport no dot default scale. Set that to 2. So that'll make everything twice as big. Hopefully, if I can remember how that works. Ah, there you go. Yeah, it does. Okay, the tag's pretty useless really on the old tracks. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to make it invisible. So I don't care about the track. So I'm just going to say it's wash to 0, it's alpha to 0. Then it just won't be visible and it don't affect me then, or bother me. Okay. What you can do is you can rotate one at a time with these. So if you did 0 and 90, I think 0 and 270 and 90, flipped it. So it's flat, I think that was right. Yeah. And then I want to tip it a little bit, so I'll do a separate rotate. So I'll copy all this, and theoretically I want to rotate it about the x-axis by a little amount, and set those to 0. This might not work, we'll see. I'll give up if this don't work. But there you go, that's your Sega menu sorted. Oh, it's tipped it too much. Make it a bit more subtle. Let's do minus 10. So there's nothing if you've got like a space going to have a planet in the middle. There you go, it's tipped it a bit. Okay, bit wide, so we can change the radius on that. Drop the radius down to 150. Once you start in perspective projection, things obviously get bigger as they get closer to you, so it distorts relationships between items. There are other things you can do. There you go. Okay, I'll stop it there.